The gears are in motion to begin construction for a facility for young adults with disabilities. I'm Clint Watson. The story's ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
Work on Family Islands coming up. Find out what government plans to do.
The Attorney General revealing statistics today that proves swift justice is working. I'm Altavis Muddings. That story coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
The wheels are in motion for the country to create its first ever state-of-the-art facility that caters to young people beyond high school level and adults with disabilities. Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisma Robinson.
And I'm Chris Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. The move comes after widespread consultation, partnerships between the public and private sector, and persistency by parents with children of challenged and disabilities. And
as the community came together for a special 3-day training program for this facility, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie renewed his commitment of making this long-awaited and needed facility a reality. Clint Watson reports.
The statistics paint a clear picture. At the last census, there were 10,138 persons in the country with disabilities. But officials believe there's far more than that. And if consideration is given to those with learning disabilities, it could number well beyond 30,000. It's this large sector society that has been overlooked for far too long, according to Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie.
What you are all doing in here is so important. Deepening the sense of compassion, exposing yourself to a greater degree of knowledge, but making a statement that the country must do more to assist those who cannot take care of themselves.
The Prime Minister pointing out that there are varying degrees of disabilities that are beyond the physical challenges, and he suggests it's the basis behind the poor performance in the school system.
When you look at the records of the schools and our educational system, and you see the percentage of children who are passing for BJCs, and the percentage of those who are coming out with nothing, you know we're not headed in the right direction. And therefore, mental disability is more than the hard Down syndrome.
Attendees gathered will be trained to care for people with disabilities in preparation for the construction of the new facility to be built on 30 acres of property on Gladstone Road.
I want to come out there and I want to see these young people working with their hands. I want to see them in a garden working with plants. I want to see them riding horses. I want to see that out there on Gladstone Road.
Mr. Christie has been the driving force behind this new facility and the implementation of updated legislation for disabilities, and he admits perhaps there's a good reason for his passion in this area.
Maybe I am driven because of the reality of my own home. And I know it is right for me to assume that in today's political world, as a Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, if I have persuaded my colleagues in the government that this is what we should do, then I must make every effort to do it whilst I'm Prime Minister.
Groundbreaking has been set for April and construction to begin sometime after that. The targeted completion date is next year. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Urban Development, the Honorable Philip Davis, says upcoming capital work in the country will include improvements to the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthero, the fishing hole in Grand Baha Mar, roadworks in North Andros, and the new port in Abaco. And as Janae Noel Ferguson tells us tonight, he also told House of Parliament members today where the government stands regarding the BAMSI project, its dispute over roadworks with the Baha Mar development, and the future of Bahamas Air.
Lack of cooperation from Baha Mar officials is just one of the reasons why Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis says the government has been unable to settle its dispute over roadworks with the mega resort set to open next month. Some $19.7 million is being disputed for Corridor 7 of West Bay Street. But Davis says before that money is shelled out, the government has to ensure value for money. He explained to House members Monday the reasons for the holdup.
Baha Mar, though, has not been forthcoming with very specific information requests and have not attended agreed meetings. And there are recorded exchanges of letters documenting these facts. Right? I'm working on it. Right? The second reason is the fact that the articles that provide for the testing of sums at industry standard in the original heads of agreement of 2006 were removed when the heads of agreement was renegotiated. When that was negotiated and signed off, the then administration didn't think that we should test the sums that were going to be spent against industry standard. So they took that clause out.
The Deputy Prime Minister also provided an update on the Bamsey project. The male dormitory was partially destroyed by fire earlier this year. When the government signed with contractors, Davis indicated that the contractors' all-risk assurance, which would have covered any possible damage, was in place. He said only after did the government learn that the project was no longer insured.
At the contract signing, the contractor had everything that was required to contract work with my ministry, including contractors' all-risk insurance. However, because of the delay and the fact that the contractor failed to pay the annual premium, the insurance coverage lapsed. Full completion of Phase 1 is now projected for June 2015. My ministry is now in discussions as to the way ahead. When these discussions are finalized and decisions have been made, I'll bring an update to the House.
Then there's the national flag carrier, Bahamas Air, which Davis also has responsibility of. He condemned pilots that participated in a two-day sick-out during the Christmas holiday that he says cost the company an estimated $822,000 and climbing.
$26.3 million deficit 5 years ago to $15 million last year. Tangible evidence of improvement? There it lies. This year's deficit, Mr. Speaker, is projected to near $20 million.
The government has also approved the replacement of 5 Bahamas Air Dash-8 aircrafts with 2 70-seaters and 3 50-seater aircrafts. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, tabled an amendment to the Immigration Act in the House of Assembly today. He said the matter has been spoken about for some time that will give status to those persons not covered under the Constitution.
That many people have been asking about this category of persons between 0 and 18. The member for North Abaco, for example, has been particularly concerned about this, which would give a status to people who are not now covered as a result of the constitutional entitlement. And this would provide for that, along with some other amending features of the bill, including an immigration reserve, and to also adjust the fees to make it certain the children, for example, of those who become citizens, who are citizens under Article 3.2 of the Constitution. So I think it's quite a comprehensive set of amendments.
Minister of Tourism Obi Wilshcombe also contributed to the midterm budget in the House of Assembly this morning. He listed a number of projects on tap this year for tourism, including sporting and entertainment events he anticipates will bring big numbers to the country. Additionally, a number of tourism offices are being opened around the world to expand the Bahamas' brand. The tourism minister bashed the opposition for knocking down the good work government is doing in tourism, saying the opposition should be working together to ensure that tourism-related opportunities are a success. He says for the country to remain competitive and thrive in the region, customer service must be a priority.
And that is why today, Mr. Speaker, our tourism numbers in the Bahamas up by 2.8%. Overall, 2.8%, Mr. Speaker. Our airlift up, Mr. Speaker, 4.9%. Our cruise, Mr. Speaker, up 2.2%. And, Mr. Speaker, it set another record in the Bahamas. For the first time in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, our arrivals have been able to exceed 6.3 million visitors. Mr. Speaker, here in the capital alone, 1.8% an airlift increase, and in cruise 0.2%, Mr. Speaker. And what that means, Mr. Speaker, for the first time in the history of the Bahamas, 3.5 million people came right here to this island alone, Mr. Speaker, another record. Mr. Speaker, the family islands are doing exceptionally well. Abaco, Exuma, Bimini all seeing 12% increases, Mr. Speaker. St. Salvador, 6% increase. And Long Island, 10% increase, Mr. Speaker. The islands are doing better.
Lots of luck. One school gets a lucky gift of computers. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Shell Quality Fuels.